All right. You guys know what time it is, man. Chaos Conversation time on this wonderful Wednesday. Black Skin Blues at your service, man. On this topic, all I'm trying to figure out, all I want to know, along with a lot of others who are tuning in, again, who be stopping me in the streets, stopping me in public, emailing me, calling me, texting me. I'm gonna give you a quick summary of what everybody be asking me in this one topic we can really talk about, and that is help me understand why a lot of women, not all of them, but a lot of women choose toxic men over healthy men just because her preferences are being met. That's the question we got for the day, and there's gonna be a few more. We're also expecting a guest to come through. Don't know if she's gonna come through or not, but until she does, that's the question. That's the topic I want a lot of y'all to think about, and don't just talk about it to be talking about something. I mean, take this in consideration with the daily actions that you guys live because it's crazy. And to me, when I say crazy, I mean it is just that. Because here on Crazy Chaos Conversation, there are a lot of things we don't know how to say, but to keep it real with y'all. So I mean, that's a question I myself even have. Help me understand how. I mean, it's okay to have preferences. I mean, we all got them. It's okay to have standards and have a specific kind of a specific type that a woman wants to be with. I'm not saying it ain't. I'm not saying it's crazy for her to have that. What I'm saying is, what I'm asking, what a lot of other people are asking me, and I'm still wondering the same thing is, ladies, help me understand how in the world you have this toxic man. Okay, he fits your preferences. He's your kind, your type. He makes enough money for you. He's dark enough, light enough. He drives a good luxury vehicle, whatever you prefer. He has his own place to stay. Cool. But my question is, why is he on your radar if he has? Now he may hide it from you. I get it there. I mean, during the dating process, he may hide it how toxic he really is. Cool. But once you find out he has those issues, my question and a lot of questions that a lot of people ask me, and I don't have an answer for. I mean, I can't tell them because I don't know. Normally, I will catch a woman who is too toxic. I'll catch that during our dating process. But a lot of ladies help me understand how in the world, why in the world you keep moving forward with this man if you know he's toxic. Help me understand why, because it's again, if you want to call in, you can't get to the you can't get on the website. I'll give you the number. You can dial 984-464-0688, and we'll go ahead and put you on speaker so you can go live and help us understand that from your point of view. Because from here, ladies, hear me out. Hear me out. Again, based on where you're at in your age too. Some of y'all the teens, some of y'all in the 20s and 30s and 40s plus. But depending on where you are in your career. I mean, you cannot sit here and keep on keeping on talking about the toxic men and then turn around and say, well, you gave this man a chance because, oh, he had a job, he made six figures, he had, whatever, and you want to give him a chance. And probably within the first, I'm going to say the first 10 dates, if it even went that far, 10 dates of you be with him before you had an exclusive contract to be committed to each other, before it got to that commitment. During your dating process, he is showing you the signs. He's giving you the clues. He's giving you the hints that he has some toxic issues going on with him. Why are you still pursuing? Help me understand. Anybody, again, if you want to call in, feel free to. Because you can find us on you can find us on TikTok, you can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on YouTube. But I mean, ladies, again, this is something I'm saying take in consideration. I mean, some fellas do it too. We're gonna get to them afterwards. But when a man is showing you how toxic he is, it's like, all right, some of y'all wondering, well, how do I tell him or how do I show him that this ain't gonna work out? Because some of y'all don't want to do that. And it's like, all right, well, you don't want to do that. Again, that's not his fault. If you don't want to ghost, that's not his fault. If you don't want to ghost him for whatever reason. There's just sometimes I think women, a lot of you all are expecting this luxury lifestyle. You're expecting this spontaneous event from him. You're expecting too much from him because he's your kind, he's your type, he's your preference. And I can say not even the vast majority of y'all, but just about all of you all don't even do that mental health check I keep talking about. The things he's telling you while y'all talking on the phone, and he's telling you stuff that you want to hear. Okay, that's one thing. What's he showing you in action? Can any of y'all Drop your comments, drop your questions here if you care to, but help me understand if he is only showing you a little bit of what you want, a little bit of what you want to hear. Okay. But like I've always said, if you're paying his actions more attention and he's showing you, are you staying there because you can't find no one else? Is that why you're staying there? Hmm? Some men will do that too with women. They'll stay with a toxic woman because they can't find no other woman. But ladies, staying on you for a second, are you staying there because you feel sorry for him? Because I've known women like that who feel sorry for a man for so long, and they just want to stay there because she feels protected over him. Okay, there's plenty of men that can make you feel protected. Are you still staying with this toxic man because you feel you're the only one that can relate to him? Heard that before, seen that before in action. I mean, the guest we were going to have on today, let me see if she might be here. Nope, not here yet. The guest we're going to have on tonight, I was going to have her explain to me from a woman's point of view. And I'm just going off of, again, what I hear, what I be talking to people about, what I be texting people about. That's what I'm going off of right now. I mean, because, I mean, ladies, it's fair to say when it comes to men and women, women are more like milk, and they can expire as far as, you know, having a family, being there for the long haul, being torn apart. Their time can expire when they can have a family. As far as a man, he's more like the wine. He can always have a family or give birth unless he has, you know, some certain mess done to his tail. But it's like, okay, when you're looking for that and the man's looking for that, but okay, if the man is that toxic, doesn't it even cross your guys' mind that it's going to rub off on your kids the wrong way if you decide to have one with that man, or if you bring your kids you currently have to around that man? Doesn't that even cross your mind? Or do your feelings and emotions for that man outweigh all that? Because if it does, once again, don't try and blame the man for being toxic, because that's the way he was when you met him. You got to sit back, take a step back. Again, don't blame the man. Don't try and find something wrong. I'm saying, when the man has shown you too many signs, or matter of fact, the first sign that he's that toxic, take a step back, give yourself space. Give him some space and give yourself some space. And if you have any kids, give them some space as well. Hopefully, you know, I don't know how fast some women like to bring their kids around a man they're just dating for the, like, again, the 8th or 10th time going in, and you can see yourself committing to this man. But if anything, I mean, I ain't got to be married to tell you all that. That is something right there in itself. I've gone through that. I've, you know, tried to talk to women who are a bit toxic. Again, but speaking from a man, my emotions don't get involved with her that fast. However, from the conversations I had, matter of fact, let me see. Let me see if I should even give you this I'll give you this young lady's name. Her name is Renee. I'm not going to give you her last name. When her and I were talking, the main thing she was asking me, telling me, bringing to my attention was all these, she called them handicaps, toxic handicaps her man had. And once again, speaking with her, and ladies, if you guys are tuning in, this is something you guys have probably dealt with in the past. She was like, the toxic issues he had, she felt she could deal with and just kind of, you know, brush him aside. But I'm like, no, that is a habit. Those are like habits of who he is. And then here's the question I have, you know, for a lot of women who want to take on these toxic men who have issues. Is he even going to therapy? Is he going to counseling? Have you went to counseling with him? Does he even identify them as, you know, issues that he has going on? And a lot of you all who are like, nope, he doesn't identify him, and neither do you. Well, then that's like the blind leading the blind. You sit here, he's trying to lead you. He's trying to be your man, to hopefully become your husband if both of you guys are dating with a purpose. But he has these issues going on. And that's the whole purpose of dating, is to collect data like that, to collect and see what he has, what she has, to see if that's something in the long haul you can deal with. Because the same young lady with name, she's almost like me, but not quite. She doesn't live completely by what traditional times have taught her. And I'm like, okay, well, I had to ask her, well, have you slept with the man? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. How long y'all been dating? She's like, a couple months. No, well, at the time it was a couple of months. It's been a lot longer than that now. But there was the time before they, you know, slept together. She said it's been a few months, couple months. So I'm like, all right. I mean, hey, I can't tell her what to do. Can't tell any of y'all what to do. But when you do it, when you make that move and you're gonna sleep with a man, sleep with a woman within a certain time frame, if your emotions get involved, again, that ain't his fault. That ain't her fault. Because you the one who knows, ladies, You're the one who knows he has these toxic issues, and you still want to make that move. So help me understand how that's his fault. It takes two. It don't take, well, I don't care if he brings you flowers or, treats you a certain way or pleases you in whatever way. It takes two. But why are you even taking it there if you know your emotions are going to get involved? And then so fast to say later on it was a mistake if a child comes, or it was his fault if something went wrong. Not just because some guy knocks at the door, that don't mean open wide and come in. That's not what that means at all. You know he got some toxic issues going on. So when I don't care, normally, ladies, when a man wants to, smash like that or hit it like that, it's normally, not all the time, it's normally going to start with a kiss. Yeah. And I don't just mean a little peck on the cheek or peck on the forehead either. I mean, some deep kissing. That's what it's going to start with. And when it does, ladies, you guys got to go ahead and learn how to go ahead and put the sign up of, on break or, closed or whatever. I mean, but help me understand why these toxic men being chosen over these healthy men who got it together, when the healthy man, he may not be your complete, I'll say it again, he may not be your complete type, your complete kind, your complete preference, but if he has at least half of the things you like in a man, that's why I feel a lot of you all are dropping the ball. Because this man that who's your preference, who's your kind, who's your type, he may have 8 to 10 out of the 10 things you want in a man. Fine. But if he's toxic and he has all 10, you can't sit there and blame him for that. That's your fault for letting him get that. Again, once again, that's the business. That's the business you've chosen when you let this man who has, met 8 or 6, I'm going to say more than half of your list of things you prefer in a man. Just because he meets them does not mean he's the one. That's not what that means at all. Once again, doing the mental health check on him, and fellas doing the mental health check on her, that should be the first thing in your mind, first thing on your radar when getting to know a person. And a lot of y'all keep waiting for me to tell you what the steps are to of doing the mental health check. And once again, there really is like no rule book. There is, again, one thing that just about all mental health issue human beings have in common, and that is childhood trauma. You're going to hear it by at least, I want to say you're going to hear their childhood trauma by at least the 5th or 6th deep conversation you have with that person. When I say deep conversation, I mean in conversations that last at least an hour or more. After about the 5th or 6th conversation you have with him or her that lasts at least an hour or more, that's when you're going to start to hear a lot of the childhood trauma. And it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult to say which mental health issue he or she has, because there's so many of them. Again, childhood trauma is the ground foundation of just about all mental health issues. But you got, again, narcissism, you got schizophrenia, you got bipolar, you got split personality. There's a ton of them. I'm not going to go through all of them, but those are the main ones in relationships. And the hottest one on the market now has been narcissism in human beings. I mean, we all have a little bit of it in us, but some people are just have so much of that in their system. It's crazy. It's like beyond 100%. They got like 140%, some of them do. But going back to the topic of what I was talking about when I say that, ladies, you have to go ahead and you have to, learn how to hit cruise control, learn when to put the relationship or the friendship going into relationship on cruise control, and not even go a mile over the speed limit. What I mean by that, by going over the speed limit, is things are going good, things are going smooth. He's showing you the signs. He's giving you the hints. He's giving you the clues that he's a bit toxic. That doesn't mean keep going that same speed limit. That means, do like I was just doing when I was driving here. It's like you got to hit the button to take it down from cruise control so your speed can slow down just a little bit. Because if you leave it where it's at, trust me, he's going to keep making his moves, and you're going to keep making your moves. And before you know it, there you go. You got mixed emotions going in, and before you know it, some of his issues are going to rub off on you. You can't help it. It's what they call that. Not possible. It's contagious. You can't help it. It's going to rub off on you. So before it rubs off too much on you, before his mental health issues or his toxic issues rub off on you the wrong way, you ain't got to cut him off all the time. I'm not saying stop calling him. I'm not saying stop communicating. But he has to show you. Damn it, he got to show you that he's identified his issue, and he should show you. Well, even though you're dating, I mean, don't be afraid to go on go to therapy. Not saying go with him, but let him go one day, you go another, and you know both of y'all work. Everybody can use therapy. I don't care who you are. Everybody can use therapy, but he had let him show you that he's trying to engage and participate in his own rescue to get himself right, get some of his toxic issues out of his system, calm down from them for you or and for his own sake. But he has to want it, and when he's not showing you that he wants to change who he is or grow, develop, mature who he is, that is the flag on the play right there. That's the sign right there that you may need to just not continue with him and let go, or put him on layaway and do like I do sometimes. I just tell women who have issues like that, listen, get yourself right, take care of this. As soon as you decide to, let me know. My number ain't gonna change. That's all I do. That's all I do. And some women would rather deal with it because you think you can handle it because it was in your family, or you think you can handle it because you're like that. Okay, well, it goes back to get yourself right before you try to get others right. But if you can't get yourself right, what makes you feel, think, or believe for a second you'll be able to get others right if you haven't gotten yourself right, having those same issues? And I've said that before in previous shows too. When you do the mental health check on others, or if you're going to sit there and expect others to get right, don't be afraid to look yourself in the mirror and get yourself right. Again, therapy and counseling is the main area, is the main way it's gonna lead you. Some of y'all want to still go to church. I mean, fine, if that's where you want to go to. But I mean, I'm sure before you stress your pastor out, he or she's going to tell you to get some therapy, get some help as well. I'm not saying church is not the answer. I'm just saying therapy and counseling is never going to hurt. Okay, it doesn't matter where you are with this man, this woman. And then fellas, we're gonna go ahead, turn to you guys in that same way, because again, when I date here and there, just to because it's a numbers game. I'll still reach out to this young lady with my undivided attention, and then she's had a mental health issue, and I've had to cut her off. I have to let her know, listen, if you can deal with this, after you deal with it, let me know. If I'm available, we can move on. We can move forward. If I'm not, then I wish you the best. But there's plenty of times I've done that. I've had to do that because I'm not going in the date expecting it. But as I talk to her, as we communicate, as we go out dating, and it doesn't take me long now because I'm pretty familiar, speaking from experience, I'm pretty familiar of what to expect. So then, ladies, I let you know the best I can, because I mean, I'm not a lady, so I can't tell you anything else there is. I was hoping our guest was on here, but I guess she may not be able to make it just yet. But in the meantime, fellas, when you run into a toxic lady, once again, if you know, or you can pick up, or let's say you can't pick up that she has some toxic issues going on, then once again, don't burn the bridge, and don't try to toss the bridge to the side. What I mean by that, just burn it, is like, don't try to break the bridge where you and her can never know of each other's. See, when I say know of each other, meaning when you see each other later on in life, you're gonna both have grown, developed, mature, but the bridge is gonna be so broken, it's not even gonna exist, that she's not even gonna want to look your way. I mean, don't break the bridge to burn it that bad to the point where she ain't trying to look your way. But do go ahead and give yourself the distance from her, as far as not letting any of your emotions or feelings, or and not allowing any of her emotions or feelings go on where you're, like misleading her. I'm like, okay, if you have to block her sometimes, then hey, you got to block her, because I know some women who are consistent and persistent as hell, that they don't care. They'll find you on your phone number, social media, email. They even sometimes come around your area. I'm not gonna mention how many times that has happened to me, but she'll come around your area and not knock on your door, but make herself visible around you, whether it's your job, where she knows you like to go, shoot ball, go shoot pool, go have a drink at a game, not a game, at a sports bar. I mean, she'll come and find you and make herself visible around you to come speak to her. And I know the small world we live in, and social media these days is crazy. However, yeah, back to the fellas, when you all have a woman, and y'all have a woman, and you're like, all right, she cool, she fine, she got this, she got a nice shape, she got excellent, she ain't got no kids, or she's whatever, she's your preference, she's your kind, she's your type, whatever. And then you get to the point where, okay, you like her, you can see yourself marrying her, committing to her, making her the one, making her wifey, whatever the case is. I do the same thing for y'all. I told the ladies, man, and that is learn to be on cruise control and how to spin. All you gotta do is, hit the cruise control button up if you want to speed up with her in your process based on where you are in your life, whether you're a teenager, in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or hit the cruise control. As no matter my car, it's the minus. All it does is a minus sign. So hit the button to slow down, hit the button to speed up, even while you're on cruise control. But once again, if you stay on cruise control with her for some reason or another, yes, and this is not always the case, but a lot of times I talk to women who their emotions and feelings get involved in the man a lot faster and a lot deeper than the man's feelings get involved with her. I mean, to each his own. There's no rule book of how fast your feelings should be involved with somebody. But again, when you sitting here calling her and she ain't picking up, you sitting there texting her and she may not respond. That's not. I mean, that's just the way it is. But just because you're doing all that, you may be calling her, texting her, say, I don't know, average 4 times a day. That's just sometimes that's a bit much for some people. But say you're calling her, texting her 4 times a day. Then damn it, when you realize she's that toxic that you're not, the minute you have some doubt, that means cut that down of calling and texting, communicating with her 4 times a day. Cut it down to at least half. And if you're talking with her for hours and you're still not sure if she's giving you clues, she's too toxic of a woman you can deal with right now. Some of y'all women think that intimidates a man. I'll let you know that don't intimidate real men one bit. Some men like me, we just pick up on it. We ain't trying to have nothing to do with it because that's not what we open for. But back to what I was telling the fellas, when a woman is that toxic, you don't feel you have what it takes to deal with her, and you really want to be with her because she has a lot of the qualities you look for in a woman. Well, when you come off cruise control, when you cut down on texting and calling and communicate, that's when you have to kind of be honest with her. I mean, just be honest with her and don't waste your time. Don't waste her time. Because again, time is still the most valuable thing on earth. So back to that, when you guys are doing that, still, fellas, help me understand why she's this toxic, or help me understand why you still want to smash that. Help me understand why you still want to smash that, knowing a child may come from that, knowing her feelings may, get more involved, and you already know that she has issues. Why do you still want to move forward with that? Again, if you guys want to, give me your answers, go ahead. You can. I'll give you the number one more. I'll give you the number one more again. Yeah, that's right. I say it like that just for the fun of it. I'll give you the number one more again. 984-464-0688, and you can always drop your comments in the comment section below. Again, that's a question I've gotten during this past week as well. When I'm out there in the community and I have a little bit of free time, whether I'm at a sports bar or a gas station, wherever I'm at, shopping center, food line, Walmart, wherever I'm at, a park, enjoying some of this weather before this hurricane comes. When I'm out there and I take questions, I'm going to start. A lot of times the people I'm speaking with, they don't want to go live. They don't want to be on camera. So what I'm going to start doing is just letting their questions be heard, and I'm going to be on camera. I'm going to try to be live and be on camera and answer their questions on the spot, and then try to be live on social media. I'm not sure it's going to be TikTok or Instagram or whatever, but it's like a lot of you all who are married, I'm like, all right, cool. Still, your spouse may have some toxic issues they never resolved, before you got married. So that's a whole different topic because marriage is a lot different than just commitment and dating. Even though you still go on dates, when you're married. So yeah, fellas, that right there in itself, man, I don't know how else to tell y'all, man, because you all have a lot of everybody think they the prize. I'm like, you know what? To me, the prize is whoever wants the other party a bit more, just a tad bit more than they want them. That's who the prize is. And sometimes it's the fellas, sometimes it's the ladies. But ladies, let's be honest. The average woman is not the prize on a man who is single, who's a good man out here who's single. That I think he's single. I don't know for 100%, but let's say a cat like I think Jamie Foxx is single. Trust me, ladies, the everyday middle class young lady is not the prize for a guy like a Jamie Foxx character. Who else is single right here? I don't think Rihanna's married yet. I know she's still with her baby. I still do believe she's with her baby daddy, but she's not married yet. So let's take someone like Rihanna, the singer. She is an average man. like myself, we are not the top prize for a woman like that. We're just not. So it's always about the top prize is the one who has the most value, who the other party has or sees more value in them than he or she may see in the other party starting off. Starting off. Because don't forget, I mean, everybody wants the prize, and for some reason, that's just the way a lot of humans are. We always want the prize that everyone else wants. We want the man, the woman who's high on demand. That's the way a lot. But going back to what I was telling the fellas, man, is when you guys are out here and you see a woman who's too toxic for you, I feel y'all should go ahead and best way I told this guy, I said, listen, don't even look to see if she's your preference. Don't even look to see if she's your kind, she's your type. I told him, he said he was gonna practice this, so I can almost challenge all y'all to practice this. See if a woman has values. Values. See if she has values that mean a lot more to you, and set aside your preference there. I don't care if she has the biggest butt, cutest smile, prettiest feet, nice breast size, whatever, nice shape. Don't even look at all that from the outside. See if she has values that mean a lot to you. And if her values that mean so much to you fellas, and she's still a little bit toxic, that's when you have to ask yourself which one means more to you. Because I mean, a lot of women and a lot of men who have toxic, what I call toxic energy and toxic habits, toxic ways of who they are, that's what you're gonna get for the longer. Don't expect that to change. You don't think you got enough power to change that in him or her either, because the vast majority of the time you won't. But again, going to therapy with him or her, it's not going to fix it, but it's going to repair it temporarily. That's what therapy does for me. It can repair it temporarily, but you have to keep going and keep going and keep going. You can never get enough of it, because the minute you stop going to therapy, that toxic energy is going to come right back. Not just overnight. It's going to start to build up. So yeah, that's the best I can tell the fellas and the ladies when you have when you have a man who's too toxic for you, and fellas, when you have a woman who's toxic and you both know it, you both identify, you both, can see it. But I'm like, you still can see this, ladies, you still can see yourself, you still want to be with him because he looked like Denzel to you, or whatever the case may be. Denzel Washington, I don't know. Just talking to some of y'all be acting sometimes. And I'll be hearing your conversations walking into Dairy Queens. I'll be hearing your conversations walking into the library. Even though you shouldn't be on the phone in the library, I'll still be hearing your conversations. But here on Chaos Conversation, man, there's just a lot of things like this topic right here on the House of tell of y'all, but to keep it real. And when you want your relationship, you want your friendship to keep moving forward. You want a strong one. You want to get married. Okay. Just take a step back. Like me, I give myself time, and there's times where I won't even contact the woman for about 2 or 3 days. And I'll give myself time to think hard. Is this a woman, from what she's shown me, from the dates we've been on, from the conversations we've had, is this a woman that I can see myself marrying, being a mother to my child, having a family with? Can I see this with her? And if there's ever one bit of doubt, my answer becomes no. And I'll call her back after 2 or 3 days, and I'll let her know, this is what's up. Here's why. And I'll ask her if she care to go on one more date. If not, know her feelings. Fine. She goes her way, I go mine. Life moves on. But I don't wish, and I give it a certain time frame. My average time is either it's a combination of at least 6. Whether it's 3 dates, 3 phone calls, sometimes maybe 2 phone calls, 4 dates. I just need 6, exposures to who she is over the phone, and then who she is in person. Because and then one time during that time frame, I don't call this playing games. This is what I call kind of seeing. I need for her to show me. Yap over the phone. That don't do nothing for me. I need for her to show me who the hell she really is. And everybody's different. For me, I'm visual though. A grown woman has to show me who she is in action, not just tell me who she is over the phone. So again, getting over that hurdle right there. That is the best way I can break it down for men and women. Is being a bit too toxic is like dating somebody with a handicap. Can you deal with that person's handicap for the rest of the time? And if you can't, Again, all you gotta do is pump your brakes. But going on to this next topic. This next topic actually came from a conversation I had today, and let me find the name. Let me find it for y'all just to make sure I get it right. Um, okay, this conversation here was, fellas. This is for the fellas. I'm gonna pick it in for a second because, ladies, this is a topic you guys do, and you a lot of y'all live with this just about the whole time frame. Fellas, can you deal with a woman who's making more than you and having a better career than you? That's a question a lot of women want to know because a lot of women feel that they intimidate a lot of y'all men because she makes more than you do, or her career is a lot more high on demand than yours is. Again, speaking from a man, for me personally, I don't care if a woman makes $1 million a month or $1 million a year. Materialistic money does not define who she is. It shouldn't make her who she is. If it starts to, I mean, if she's a certain way before I met her, she has money, she has a career, and all this other stuff. I don't care. Who are you as a human being is my question. You know, that to me from a man's perspective is what matters. Again, I don't care how much money she makes. And then another side question from that topic there is, fellas, can you handle a woman who makes more than you? The other question on the side of that was, do your roles of being the head man in charge, the man of the household, do those roles change because she makes more money than you or whatnot? To me, once again, there's no rule book to that. But knowing your role is all it really takes. Just because she makes more money than you, fellas, I seriously doubt that means that, okay, honey, somebody's breaking in at 10:47 or 10:48 at night. Okay, honey, you make more money, so you go to the door and check and see who that is. Here's the gun, or here's the bat. I seriously doubt that that's what that means. Knowing your role in the relationship, knowing your role in commitment, or marriage relationship, that's all it's about. She makes 100,000, fellas. I mean, dudes, you make only 80. That don't mean your roles change. You pull up to the gas pump. Normally, a man will pump the gas for her. I've seen sometimes where men are sitting in the passenger seat and not do anything but give the woman his credit card. Sometimes he won't even do that. And he'll just sit back and let her pump because she makes more. I mean, I don't know the whole situation, but there's times where I've seen stuff like that change. So, but for those of y'all who live by modern ways versus traditional ways, again, do what works for you. Don't try and do what works for your parents or your friends or others around you. Do what works for you. So, but anyway, fellas, help me understand again. If you want the number again, here it is. Because I want to hear this one. 984-464-0688. And fellas, I mean, feel free to, there's no wrong answer. To me, once again, I don't care how much a woman makes. She would never intimidate me. I don't care who she is. I know she may drink water. She might shower in water, but I like to be intimidated by her until she walks on water. And I don't mean walk on water with those see-through, stones, some David Copperfield tricks behind it either. I mean, until I see her walk on water, actually, she won't be able to intimidate me one bit. Don't care how much she makes. Don't care what she does for a living. But on the other hand, fellas, I've heard some of y'all tell me you don't know what to do with that. And I'm like, what is it? Who cares? To me, when a woman makes more than me, this is why it don't bother me. A woman is more of an asset than she is a liability when she makes more than me. Now, that don't mean I'm going to cut back on, all that's going to do is push me to get more sales in, or push me to work my job or work my business even more, even harder. That's what it's going to do for me. Some men I've spoken with in the past, they fold. And those are some of the same men who women feel they intimidate because she's making 80,000, 95,000 as a nurse, and you're only making, I don't know, 46 to 50,000 as a construction worker, or barber, whatever the heck it is you do. School teacher, I don't know, whatever the man decides to do. But when a woman does that, but you guys love each other, you guys have this click, connection, chemistry, you have all these things in common, and let's say that both of you all have passed each other's mental health checks. Okay, so you're good to go, but you're gonna let something as easy as her making more money than you come between you guys' relationship. Let me give you two examples of that. Okay, I think his name is Sedman and Oprah Winfrey. They ain't married. They've been together for, I think, over 40 years though. They're not married, but she's been the breadwinner. She's made more than him. I do believe the whole time. Maybe the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 years that she didn't make it, but The vast majority of the time they've been together, she has made more than he has. But look how long they've been together. They ain't married. There's another couple from the Cosby Show. I can't think of her name. I think she played as Vanessa. But her and her man, they've been together for well over, I want to say 30 plus years. And I do believe she makes more than he does. But all of a sudden, look how long they've been together. They ain't married, but still, look how they worked out because they do what works for them. Fellas, the other example I was going to use is Michelle Obama and Barack Obama, President Barack Obama. If I understood correctly, Michelle made more money than Barack Obama the first 10 years of their marriage. Look at them now. Again, they don't go by what tradition has been teaching. They don't go by what their parents did. They go by what worked for them. A lot of you all who pull me aside in the public and message on social media, all this mess, and it's like there really is. I mean, marriage is not even a must. Being a household, being a homeowner is not a must. It's part of what the community and tradition times have called the American dream. It's not a must. So just because some people want to be single, some people feel like they have to be married. I know men and women who have told me she can't live without a man, or he can't live without a woman. He has to have one. And it's good people know that. But when a woman is making more than a man, that does not mean that you shouldn't be able to, that he shouldn't, as a man, be able to handle it. That just means you all may, again, go to therapy and you all have to go over goals. Is this going to be the case? Because I know a couple who runs what are they called? It's like a cosmetologist school. Every time I go there, I see the wifey there. I don't see the husband there. I see the wifey there. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna try and grab her on the show and see if I can't have her come on here because she's been married for over 40 years. But she is, I don't know if she's a breadwinner or not. I know her son told me she's a millionaire. She's made big money in the past, but I see her at work all the time. I don't know what her husband does. I believe, to my knowledge, I think he just supports her because she has found her niche. So when the husband has a woman that's making more money than he is, if he wants to support her, there ain't no shame in that. I don't see no shame in that if that's what works for them. Again, paper is materialistic. It's materialistic. It's paper. It's money, but I mean, still, if a woman is making more than the man, fellas, I mean, this is the new millennium we live in. This ain't the old traditional. I can do that. Traditional times where a woman can't work and she just stays home, takes care of the house, and cooks, cleans, and washes clothes. This is not that time anymore. I mean, those principles can still be applied. But I'm not saying at the same time when y'all want to sit here and talk to me saying you can't be with this woman. I ask you, well, why not? And you're telling me, well, she out earns you. I know women who are nurses and they won't out earn their man at the time or their husbands at the time. They won't even out earn them. All of a sudden, here came COVID, and they went from 50, 60,000 all the way up to like 80 to like 90 to 100,000 because they were nurses who were hustling. That's when COVID came around, and she started making more than he did. Because one girl, what's her name? I think it was Latrice. Latrice told me she went from making, when the COVID hit, before COVID, she was only making about 45, 46 to 50. After COVID, her for some reason, it went up to half of that. And it wasn't all just from the hospital. She did have some side hustles of doing hair and stuff like that on the side. But that's what she told me. And I mean, I didn't ask to see her bank statements and all that mess, but she said after that happened, Bruce, what should I do? Because my man is acting different and this and that. I said, again, how long y'all been together? Can you see yourself marrying them? But I was like, they don't have no kids together. But I was like, Latrice, all right, man, well, you got to go ahead and, I just gave her advice of to do with her man. I'm not going to tell you everything I told her to do because every situation is different. But in cases like that, when your woman starts to make more than you fellas, that ain't nothing in the world. That's nothing that should, intimidate you. That's nothing that should get on your nerves. That's more of an asset than it is a liability. Just try to change your thought process of that. She's more of an asset than a liability. If she was an asset before, okay, well, she's a bigger asset than she was a liability now. I mean, just change your thought process. That's really all it is. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. To me, I don't care. Again, there was one time I dated a woman, and at the time I was making 45. She was making 70 plus. Didn't care. She had her house. She had her townhouse. I had mine. But in her mind, uh, she thought that she intimidated me. She thought that that bothered me. It didn't bother me one bit. It didn't bother me one bit. I didn't have to worry about nothing as far as um, going out of my way, or she never said one time pay all her bills or take care of my bills or none of that. I knew she was well off taking care of her own, but there were a lot of areas that she was able to capitalize in my life at the time. The other areas I was able to capitalize in her life at the time. So once again, don't focus on what may go wrong or what is wrong with the dating process, with the commitment. Try to focus on what's right. And I'm not saying to ignore all the flags on the play that he or she may bring, or may show you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the flag on the play and the don't let the cons outweigh the pros. That's all I'm saying. I don't care if it's the male or female. Don't let the cons outweigh the pros. And then once you go ahead and you pick up on, okay, well, fellas, okay, you make 60,000, she makes 80 or 100, no problem. Know your roles, know when to go ahead and apply, and don't ever forget. Again, it's the value of her. It's the value of her. The money is not completely who she is. The money is not what gives her the value. I always tell women like this, and fellas, if you want to, steal this, or ladies, you want to steal this, then go ahead. I always tell women, I have the values money can buy. I don't care what currency you try to use. When you fellas see the value in her like that, trust me, it shouldn't matter. I don't care if she make 20,000 a year or 200,000 a year. Shouldn't bother you when she has the values your money can buy. Once again, I think a lot of you all are letting too much of this social media, I mean, I don't care how much a lot of y'all, I hear, all talking about this daggone baby oil with Puff Daddy mess. I mean, that's his life, man. I don't know why that matters to some of y'all. So there's a lot of jokes on social media right now going on about that. Now, if you're dating a man who's going through all that mess, once again, ladies, that's the business you've chosen. Don't sit here and complain about him. If he's chasing you down the hallway with wrapping the daggone towel, putting his hands on you, and you still want to stay with a man like that, that's the business you've chosen. Don't try to blame him for that. Once again, that's who he is. Now, after he shows you his true colors of acting a fool of that nature, that's the flag on the play for you to go ahead and leave. But you don't want to sometimes. We get it. And that right there in itself is some of y'all. I'm touching on that topic because it's one of the hottest topics right here on the in the field right now on social media. I don't watch too much TV, but ladies, when the man is doing that, when the man is acting that, he's showing you that many signs of mental health issues he has going on. Yeah, I mean, having these parties, and if it's true, what be going down at these parties, that's enough. That's enough evidence in itself for you to go ahead and and cut them loose. Matter of fact, I ain't got nothing here. If I had some scissors, I'm gonna tell you, I'll just cut the man loose. And fellas, same for you. If a woman, you got a woman acting that crazy, where she's putting her hands on you, or telling you how she's put her hands on her ex before, when she's telling you who she is, you got to go ahead and learn how to cut her loose. There's plenty of times I had to do that. I don't regret it one time, even though I've seen those kind of women with other men later. I just be like, all right, if that's who's for him, if the man I see her with in the mall, if the man I see her with out there in the shopping area, if that's who she's with, and either he can deal with her that way, or he hasn't, he's chosen to ignore it, ignore all the signs, ignore all the mental health issues, ignore all the toxic issues that she may have going on. If he chose to ignore them or deal with them, I'm happy for him. Go ahead. I mean, that's what they say. Somebody was just on social media talking about it today. They were like, oh yeah, a man's leftovers can always be another man's treasure. And I mean, I'm not saying that dating a woman is really leftover, because we haven't committed yet. We haven't done anything really, but just collect data from each other. But it's a numbers game here. In this single world, it's a numbers game. Once you've got to commitment, then hey, it's a whole different ball game when you've got to the committed stage in your life. But I mean, again, fellas, help me understand, man, while some of you all still want to sleep with a woman that has those toxic issues. And ladies, help me understand while some of y'all still want to be with a man because he's your preference and he meets some. Well, he meets more than half of your standards, more than half of your list, more than half of your, what you want. But he's too toxic and he has too many mental health issues, or has a mental health issue you can't help him with and you can't even relate to. that has me and all these other consumers tuning in, has all these other consumers who be stopping me in the public asking me all this. And it's like, listen, sometimes I have to tell you guys what you don't want to hear, which is the truth. I'm not a man here who's just going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not going to tell you just a whole bunch of alternative facts because they fit your feelings and it sounds good. I've seen enough of those men go down. I'm not even going to name who those men are either. Some of you already know who I'm talking about. But those kind of questions, and again, those two topics I just touched on were the main two topics of men, how are you dealing with women who make more than you, and then ladies, why are you moving forward with these men who are too toxic for you to handle? Hopefully that answers all your questions, because this next topic I'm going to touch on is I'm not going to be on it for that long, and that is just in the dating game, because there's a lot of groups out here that I'm a part of that is they're dating groups, and the idea is find somebody that you may have that click, connection, and chemistry with. And here's one for you right here, and that is when fellas, when you and the woman that you are dating, or ladies, this can go for both men and women. Ladies, when you are dating a man, and fellas, when you're dating a woman, when you guys are not dating for the same purpose, how long are you going to hold on to him? Now, they passed a mental health check. They don't have any issues like that going on, but you guys are not dating with the same purpose. How long are you going to invest your time in that man, in that woman? Again, there's no wrong answer. There's no rule book. But this goes back to the last case that I had, because to me, this conversation went on the longest, and before I know it, I was almost late for work, and we just sitting there talking because it was deep. Hey, I forgot how we started. Oh, I think we both were in line. We just started talking about stuff and that led to relationships. Next thing I know, I told the young lady, hey, I run a podcast and so forth and so on. So I got my food, she got hers, and next thing I know, it went crazy. So the thing of it is what we talked about is, and what happened is she's a few years older than I am. So she's at a point in her life where she's ready to be married. I'm like, okay. Well, I talked about in those cases, when you are the one ready to be married. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to give you guys her name. Her name is Anita. Anita was like, I'm ready to be married. I'm ready to have a family. She really has, she has one son of her own. The guy she was talking to got one child of his own. And she was like, well, she said, I say was talking to, she said, because she's what she said, it's complicated. So the guy she's talking to, I said, well, you guys committed? She's like, okay. She's like, yeah, I guess you can say that. I said, okay, well, you were doing more than just talking with him. I didn't ask her if she was sleeping. I didn't ask Anita if she was sleeping with him, but that was too much. I didn't think it would go that far. But she was telling me, and a lot of you all tuning in, help me understand if this is your case, what you would do. Because, I mean, again, there's no rule book. She was saying that she's ready to be a wife. She's ready to be a mother, even though she already is a mother, be a stepmom if she has to. She's ready to move forward and commit to, she don't have time for playing games, as she put it. I'm like, okay. Is he dating with the same purpose? That's a question a lot of you all have to ask yourself. But once again, don't be afraid to put your commitment. Don't be afraid to put your dating in neutral. And take your foot off the gas. If you want to stay on cruise control, then go from 50 miles an hour down to like 10 or 5 miles an hour if you have to. But stop dating. And her purpose is to get married. I said, what has he ever told you what his purpose was? She's like, no. I said, okay, let me rewind a little bit. How about during the times y'all were talking on the phone? Did he tell you, did he text you, did he give you any signs that he was trying to date or commit with a purpose? She's like, I can't think of when he did. I said, I had to ask a few questions. And if she answered me correctly, I was like, Anita, it doesn't sound like he's dating with a purpose to get married. It sounds like he's just dating for a purpose to have somebody with him. And there's a lot of men and women who are like that. They're not dating you with a purpose that they want to marry you. They're dating with a purpose that they just want to have you around because you make them feel a certain way, or sometimes they had bad experience in their last relationship. They just got divorced and they're not trying to go there anymore. See that right there. And a lot of you all, some men are like this, some women are like this. Once again, going to counseling, going to therapy is going to help both of y'all. But fellas, when you are later, let's take the ladies because that's because Anita, she was giving me her point of view. So ladies, when you're dating it, you want to be with a man. This ain't gonna be all men. This is gonna be at least six to 8 out of 10 men. When you're dating a man and you want to be married, you want to be, move forward and have a family. You ain't got no time to waste because your biological clock is steady ticking. So when you're at that stage in your career, you have to find out, just straight come out and say it. Don't be afraid to say it to the man. Where do you see yourself in the next, 3 to 5 years? Or can you see yourself having a family with me? Okay. Some men, ladies, some men will go ahead and tell you, they'll tell your ass what you want to hear. Just because he tells you, that don't mean buy it right away. Let him show you his actions. Okay. Sometimes you gotta do like a some of y'all know who this young lady is. Some of y'all know matter of fact, do I want to put the name? I'm not gonna put the names out there, but I went to school with one of them, and then another one, my homeboy La Butler, went to school with her. That's where they met. But sometimes, ladies, you gotta put some peer pressure on them, on your man. That listen, if you can't put a ring on this finger by this date, by the end of this year, or however long you've been dating, how long if he can't put a ring or some sort of commitment on there that he wants to marry you, you gotta put some pressure on him sometimes for him to put some urgency that he wants to marry you. Because otherwise, he's just gonna play it, casually. He ain't gonna do jack. He's just gonna sit there, continue to treat you, probably take care of you, pay a bill of yours or whatever. Go on dates with you, and hug you at night. He gonna continue to just do the basic of what he gonna do just enough to keep you. Just like some of these jobs pay us just enough to stay there. He gonna do just enough to keep you with him. He ain't gonna do anything extraordinary to say, hey, he wants to marry you. And ladies, when he does that part, that is when you have to again know you have boundaries and have your standards, have your preferences, have all that mess in order, and be like, listen, you have till this day to propose. If you can't, I'm gonna be moving on. Now, there's different ways you can say that. You ain't always have to come out up front. You got to know your man, and know how he rolls. Some men are pretty sensitive, so you got to know your man, and sometimes just put the pressure on him if you can see yourself married. This is again after he's passed all the mental health checks, after he's shown no signs of being that toxic or anything of that nature, and he's you feel like he's the one. Both of y'all have prayed about it. You've meditated. Some of y'all have even manifested that, hey, this is the one you want to be with. And once you put that pressure on him, ladies, you will see his true colors show. Either he's gonna cut it off, or he's gonna move forward with you. Again, that just depends. Now, don't try to be in your teens and be in your 20s, and you're not 1,000. You haven't even experienced that much. You've only experienced this one man who's been your everything, and you want to try to put this pressure on him because a lot of times men and women, when they're in their 20s and 30s, they feel like they have a lot more time to go out here and explore options than the average person who's in their 40s, 50s, or older. So it's not always going to work. When I say it's not always going to work, you're going to have some men who are going to shy away for a short period of time. Then he's going to come back to you and say, okay, yeah, you're the one. He's going to want to spin the block. That's what they call it. He want to spin the block because you put this peer pressure on him and he's not certain of himself. And a lot of times women, when you put that kind of pressure on a man, you either going to see him drop the ball or you're going to see him try to score. And what I mean by try to score is he's going to try to up his game because he knows you want this win. He knows you want this particular ring, and he knows he can barely afford it. So you're either going to see him step up and get a second job, get a second hustle on, or you're going to see him leave you a note somewhere that he's not ready for this. Okay, but that's why me being a straight talker, just jump to the point based on where you are at in your relationship. Well, we're not in your relationship, where you're at in life. Because some women, you're there to the point where you want to, you do want to get married, you do want to have a family, you do want to, have a husband, and at the same time, while you're so busy wanting all this, the man you're with has to be ready and prepared to be a husband, to be a father. Because trust me, if he ain't all there to be a father, he ain't all there to be a husband. Trust and believe, there's going to be a lot of the marriage is not always going to last that long, especially if you guys haven't gone to therapy, and you guys haven't, you're not even on the same page and stuff. Trust and believe it's just not going to work out. And a lot of y'all, what you do is you go ahead and you move forward with it. And then when you move forward with it, and this man, ladies, he's not ready to be the husband. He may already be a father, but he's not ready to be a husband completely. And a lot of men, like even me, myself included, I feel we should have a certain amount, have ourselves at a certain point in our career, or have a good enough hustle on that if things go wrong, we have backup. And some men, some men may just have a 9 to 5. He may not have no side hustle. So he feels with you, he may feel that he needs a side hustle to, move forward. Well, not just one hustle. He may feel he needs to make a certain amount of money. Okay, well, if you see him, ladies, if you see him as your husband in the future, and as your kid's father, or having a child with him, if you can see all that in him, again, going to therapy, going to counseling is a good way to go. Sometimes you may need to help him get his business off the ground, whether it's car detailing business, cutting hair. I don't know, like me, I'm a life insurance agent, getting this out. You may have to help him a little bit, and that's when you guys, as you help him build his business, or he wants to help you build yours, doesn't matter. The thing is, giving him some men. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say at least 6 to 8 men will step up and do whatever it takes when he's ready to grow, develop, and mature with you. Again, don't know how to tell y'all, but to keep it real, because he on Chaos Conversation. I mean, relationships are crazy these days. They're not what they used to be. And talking to a lot of men and women who have been married for 30 plus years, the biggest factor that I have heard from both parties is they do not engage in social media. Barely at all. That is the main factor, or the main reason, that I've heard from couples that have been married for over 30 years. I say 20 to 30 years because, one couple has been married for 30 years, the other one's been married for 40, but I say 20 because there are some couples out there who are still, weathering the storm. But that is the main reason. I'll talk to the wife of one, I'll talk to the husband and the wife of the other. And with the husband and wife that I'll talk to, she's involved in social media, but she's not always putting the business out there. She's out there liking the pictures that her family, drops, or her friends drop. That's all she's doing, but she's not putting too much of their marriage business out there, and she don't buy too much of the BS out there because she's old enough to know better. But that's the main thing in common. You guys are wondering why relationships are not lasting as long as our grandparents did or our parents did, and it is because of social media is the biggest factor. I'm not saying it's the only one, but it's the biggest factor that couples have told me. All right. Again, Chaos Conversation. We do appreciate y'all tuning in. But with that, we're going to go ahead and call that a night, man. Once again, like, subscribe, comment. Feel free to share and, leave your comments. And if you ever want to call that number I gave you after hours, go ahead. And until next time, like I said, y'all play it safe out here. I know the weather's coming around. Go ahead and, go to the grocery store and go ahead and act like y'all robbed the grocery store like y'all did plenty of time. Take all the bread, take all the water off the shelves like you always do. And, don't forget, you can always find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and also on YouTube. So with that, we'll see you next time. Peace, and we out.